this VA offer is not as good as another offer. Well, the VA loan is a higher risk. Conventional loan with a down payment is a safer loan.
Sorry.
Now you done mess around and piss me off. What realtors get wrong about the VA loan. All right, welcome back to another episode of Major Money Matters. Brother, good to have you in the seat with me. How are things going with you?
Hey, everything is good on this side, kicking butt and taking names.
Awesome stuff, which is always interesting to me. Is it you taking the names of the butt that you kicked, or them realizing that you kicked their butts and them having your name?
Interesting.
Wait a minute.
Why were the names necessary anyway?
You really don't remember it. The name's not really relevant. So it's like another situation. We don't kick people's butt.
We don't do that here.
We kick situations' butts.
I am the one.
We have some of the best realtor partners in the nation. And there are some fantastic realtors out there that service veterans with excellence. If we start talking about things we hear when, we talk to realtors, and if it's not you, totally fine. If the shoe doesn't fit, don't put on that shoe. So we're not attacking all realtors here, but there are some interesting things that we hear when we start talking about the VA home.
Yeah, it's a grocery store method. You don't walk into a grocery store and take everything home with you. You walk in, you walk the shelves, and you walk back out. That's all you came for.
A loaf of milk, a container of bread, and a Joe Dirt DVD.
You're being judged for putting that process crap into your kids. It doesn't matter that you're there and you're showing them love. We have this N+1 theory because we grew up and our dad was very much an alcoholic, okay? And on any given day or night, we had no idea where he was. This is not speaking ill of the deceased, God rest his soul. This
Indeed.
is the life that he lived. I mean, if you're going to get upset with me for saying what he did, it's what he did. My wife knows where I am every second. However, there are still some things I have to get better at, according to her. It's the N+1. You have to be better than what you are right now.
It's not enough that, yes, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not looking to have any fun outside of the walls of my house. Everything I enjoy is inside of this house.
Is it worth it? Oh yeah, it's worth it.
I do want to have a conversation with realtors who have a certain perspectives about the VA home loan benefit. The word is getting out there about, the VA home loan. I think we do a great job with VA home loans. There are other people that do great jobs with VA home loans, other originators, other realtors that are educating about the VA home loan benefit also, which is great. There are still some misconception. If you're somebody who doesn't encounter VA loans, hopefully you take something away from this, because when somebody puts in an offer, typically on a VA home loan, we call the listing agent. And we have a conversation with that listing agent. So I want to tackle some of them right now about things that, people are saying. So what are some things that you hear people say, brother, when you make these phone calls about the VA home loan and talk to the listing agent about the offer?
The first thing I want to make clear and establish is, what is the realtor's job? What's the realtor's job in guiding the seller on choosing from multiple different offers, one of them being a VA loan?
One thing we hear sometimes, like the seller, I don't think the seller is going to take a VA offer. Why do you not think the seller is going to take the VA offer? Because the seller doesn't even know what a VA offer is, or the difference between a VA offer and this other offer. The seller hired you to sell their house. If they're selling the house for $500,000 and you get a seller to pay, or a buyer to pay $500,000, you are doing your job.
Perfect. Another good job well done.
That's what they hired you for. They didn't hire you to be a best friend. When a realtor says, I don't think the seller's going to take a VA offer. Now, true enough, your seller could be an investor, that flips homes and stuff. So they might be more acquainted with different offers. Your seller could be a loan officer, so they know different loan products and stuff like that. But your job is to educate. I mean, I'm a loan officer. I'm an originator. So I know that VA offer is easier to get through underwriting than that conventional loan offer where that buyer could be qualifying by W-2, could be qualifying by self-employed, could be qualifying by bank statements, could be qualifying by P&L. All of these layers of things that could be associated with that qualification. And you're not just going to tell me that the buyer or the seller is not going to take a VA offer. They want a conventional offer or something like that, unless something's wrong with the house that you already discussed, and it's not going to pass the VA inspection.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what does your seller know about loans? Your seller is a structural engineer or a city council member. So what do they know about not accepting a VA loan other than something they may have seen or skimmed over in some type of article or something like that on the internet? Your job is to educate them on the strength of a VA offer.
And 9 times out of 10, when a seller says, I don't think my seller is going to take a VA offer, what they are saying is, number one, either I don't want to present a VA offer to my seller, which is illegal. You have to present all offers. Or number two, I don't understand the VA offer. You and I need to have a conversation about why you believe that this VA offer is not as good as another offer or another type of offer. The listing agent will ask me, well, can they go conventional? Theoretically, they can. I don't know why they would. If they're not planning to put money down and you're requiring to put money down on a conventional loan, the interest rate is higher on a conventional loan. They are likely, if they're not putting at least 20% down, they're going to have to pay PMI on that conventional loan, meaning a higher monthly payment because of the interest rate's higher, and higher monthly because you have to pay PMI. Why would you do that? We need to have a conversation with you to figure out why you are not willing to take this VA offer.
Does your seller not like veterans or freedom or the people who put their life on the line for you to enjoy not being blown away just while you're having your morning cup of coffee? What's really going on here? Are we only patriotic on Veterans Day, on Memorial Day? Are these the only days that we really care about the people who have given their lives and limbs for this country? What are we saying?
You were in a combat zone where things happened to you while you were in that combat zone.
My literal skin was in the game when there were bombs blowing up around me. My skin was in the game when the people around me were being mortally wounded. Like, my skin was in the game.
Literally.
So what are we talking about here? Sorry.
Now you done mess around and piss me off. And we try to contain our frustration and have a civil, professional conversation with people while we're trying to advocate for our veteran. And these are some of the things that we hear on a daily basis. Next thing, well, the VA loan is a higher risk. Conventional loan with a down payment is a safer loan.
What?
The question I often ask is, when you say the VA loan is higher risk, riskier to who? Interest rates on VA loans are lower than interest rates on conventional loans. The bank has decided, because this loan is guaranteed or backed by the VA, they receive a guarantee for that loan. The bank has said that this loan is not riskier than a conventional loan, because a conventional loan without 20% down is going to require PMI. Who is it riskier to? I guess you're saying it might be riskier to your seller?
In VA loans, traditionally and by and large, VA buyers don't walk. I mean, they are committed to the process.
That's a very good point you bring up, though, and we can go deeper there. Veterans are usually not shaken at the first hint of bad information. Hey, we got to get this repaired for the appraisal. Hey, we got this inspection issue to come up. We got to take care of this. Because guess what? When you've been in the military, crap comes up all the time. It's ingrained in you. Hey, we got this situation. We're going to work through it. Let's roll. That's the mindset of the veteran buyer. Because that cash buyer, guess what they got? Whole lot of options. They got a lot of money. What a cash buyer has
is cash.
Exactly. And even if we go back to you thinking, oh, this offer right here, this is a 20% down, conventional loan. I have done 20% down conventional loans with a 49.99% debt to income ratio. And if anything goes wrong in those numbers, in underwriting, we're going to be over that number. So we have to figure out, what exactly is going on. People don't understand when they say that offer come through with, oh, I got 15% down, 10% down right here. You don't know what that debt to income ratio is, or you don't know whether that person's qualifying with a P&L loan or bank statements. And we had to do a 12-month bank state calculation on that loan. And now you're saying, oh, this VA loan is not good just because they're going 0% down. You also don't know if that veteran happens to have $300,000-$400,000 in the bank. They're making X percent interest off of that. They're like, well, I'm not taking the money out of those investments. I'm going to go over here and finance this home. I don't want to put a down payment down because I got my investments growing. You simply don't know that.
So we've already established that it's not a higher risk to the bank, and we've already established that it's not a higher risk to the seller. But I think the only person we have to now cover is the buyer. And it's not a higher risk to the buyer because the buyer, as you just stated, the buyer gets to keep their money in the bank or in high interest yielding savings or investments. And why do they get to keep their money in those places? They were willing to make a sacrifice with their lives, with their time, with their efforts, time away from their family, their kids, to defend this beautiful country we call America.
The only higher risk now is the perceived higher risk that you are placing on the VA home loan as the listing agent. How do we have a conversation and educate you so that you know that this loan is solid? Now, some listing agents will also say, well, the appraisal is more difficult, or the appraiser is more difficult with a VA loan.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Now, caveat here, the VA loan, just like a USDA loan or FHA loan, does have MPRs or minimum property requirements. However, there are ways to maneuver that. If an appraiser is being nitpicky about something, hey, there's the front door needs to be painted or something ridiculous like that, you can get a whole harmless letter from the veteran, send that to the VA, 2 days, that's cleared or whatever. That doesn't take like an extra week or something to do. If the appraiser is being irrational, we go to the regional loan center and get those things cleared. The appraiser as an individual, I'm going to talk about that person. The appraiser, just like me, okay, I currently have a total of 4 children, but I have 3 kids that go to the same school. If the principal calls me and says, hey, Major, we need you and Cheryl to come down to the school. We need to have a conversation about whatever child. The person that walks in the room and has the conversation about that child, it is the same dad and the same mom, different child. The appraiser is the same appraiser that could have done a conventional jumbo appraisal yesterday, a FHA appraisal for a refinance on a bank statement loan, all of these things. It's the same person. So the appraiser is not more difficult. It's the same freaking person. Let's not just put all of this on the appraiser. Any thoughts on that, brother?
The appraiser that comes in for the VA loan, that appraiser had to have more training. That appraiser is more qualified because they had to go through something extra in order to get a VA certification to be an appraiser. So they are not more difficult. They are certainly more qualified to do their job.
Absolutely. The appraisal is going to take longer. If you have an appraisal that's taking a long time on a VA loan, you likely had an originator or a company that delayed ordering the appraisal for whatever reason. The way we operate, on the day that you go into escrow, unless you tell me to wait to order the appraisal, we're ordering the appraisal. Why do we do that? Because we pay for the cost of the appraisal. We're not waiting on disclosures to get signed and all this stuff, delaying 3 or 4 days for us to navigate all stuff. We want the appraisal ordered ASAP, so our appraisals come in pretty stinking fast on VA loans. However, you as a realtor can go to the VA site and you can go to va.gov, go under appraisals on the left-hand side, and you can see in your area what the appraisal timeliness is. And the appraisal timeliness gives you the amount of business days from the time the appraiser accepts that appraisal until the appraisal is due back. That is 7 to 10 days in most areas. Usually that appraisal comes back fast. Veterans are going to buy houses in whatever market. They want to stay in good standings with the VA. They don't want all of these reports written about them and all that stuff. They want to low profile, do my thing. I keep getting my appraisal orders. I do my VA appraisals and I move forward. But they don't want to ruffle feathers. Don't say that, hey, you know, the VA appraisal is going to take lower because I know I had this situation going.
That is not correct.
That does not happen. You were working on a VA appraisal with the wrong company, because people like us, we know how to call the RLC and say, hey, this is supposed to be 10 days, we're now at 11 days. I need you to reach out to the appraiser and see what's going on, and so we can get this appraisal in.
Let's talk about the people who say that VA appraisals come in low.
Comparatively speaking to conventional loans, according to recent data, the VA appraisers actually appraise at or above value more often than conventional loans, okay? And we keep saying this over and over again. Everything that needed to be said has already been said, but no one was listening, so it needs to be said again.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Exactly. So we'll just keep saying it.
We're gonna keep saying it, keep posting the VA appraisal. Hey, we've ordered on this day. We'll keep posting on our social media so that people understand what exactly is going on with the VA appraisal, because the only way you can do this is you have to combat years of misinformation. A shout out to Apex Processors. Great job, great company, helping the broker community expand. If you are a mortgage broker and you need help with processing services, reach out to Apex Processors. They'll make sure you're set up correctly and can expand your business. Back to the appraisers. These are things that we are hearing on a day-to-day basis with these appraisals or information, and it's just bad information. So if you are a listing agent, please, and you have a misconception, I want to talk to you about this, okay? We can have that conversation. I'm open to it. If you can tell me something in your specific area that is happening, great. Comment on the video. We can have that conversation. I'm not going to listen to you say, you know, I was doing a VA loan once and this happened. The problem is that becomes your metric for what happens on all VA loans, and that's incorrect. And if you work with the wrong lenders, they don't know how to navigate this, which is why it's very important for you to choose, or not choose, because you can't do that for a buyer, but it's very important for you to educate them about why they should look at other options and work with lenders that actually can. That 0.1% difference in interest rate that they're shopping for might not be a big deal if they can't actually close the loan.
Just because one lender messed up a VA loan for you and you've sworn off VA loans forever, no, pick up the phone. Find a better lender.
If people will get a bad haircut, doesn't mean you stop getting haircuts. Find a barber that actually works. This is simple stuff that everybody will apply to, except, oh, I'm not doing a VA loan anymore. If you need a VA lender, reach out to me, reach out to Marion. We would love to help you, educate you, and give you perspective on why things are being done. If you're in the middle of a VA transaction and we're not the lender on it, will we have a conversation about it? Yes, I will tell you, hey, this is what you do. Call the RLC. This is what you say. This is who you need to talk to get to the finish line on this. We're here to help. Let's together combat the phobias and beliefs around VA home loans, because they are truly the single best lending product for the buyer, the seller. And I'll tell you, you can go on my page. There's another video that talks about, you know, things you need to know about VA appraisals. There's a lot of VA stuff, you know, on there. And we try to put this information out because we deal with this every single day. And we put this video out because there's things that we can see when we're talking to each other that we can't necessarily say to the listing agent when they are on the phone, because we try to maintain our professional decorum. All right, brother, any closing thoughts on this?
We've said everything that needs to be said.
But we're going to keep saying it.
We'll keep saying it.